Jesus says. Do not be afraid, because fear is not your true home. Darkness may feel heavy right now, like it has wrapped itself around your thoughts, your nights, your silence. You may feel as if the light has forgotten your address, as if hope knows everyone else's name but skips yours. But hear this slowly, gently, like a voice sitting beside you in the quiet. No darkness has ever been strong enough to defeat light. Darkness only exists where light is absent, and the moment light arrives, darkness has no choice but to leave. When you feel weak, when your hands tremble and your heart grows tired of carrying questions without answers, remember this. Light does not need permission to shine. It does not ask how long the night has lasted. It simply shows up and changes everything. And that light walks with you, even now, even here. You may feel abandoned. People you trusted may have turned away. Promises may have been broken. Words once spoken with love may now echo with silence. There are moments when it feels like the world moves forward without looking back at you, as if you were left behind on a road everyone else crossed easily. But you are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not alone in this moment, even if your phone is quiet, even if your room feels empty, even if no one asks how you are really doing. There is a presence that stays when others leave, a presence that does not grow tired of your pain or impatient with your healing, a presence that walks with you not only on strong days, but especially on the days when getting out of bed feels like a battle. When the world says, "You're on your own now," this presence whispers, "I am still here." Sometimes fear does not come loudly. It comes softly. It comes as doubt. It comes as overthinking at night. It comes as the quiet belief that you are not enough, that your best days are behind you, that your mistakes define you forever. Fear tells you stories about the future that have not happened yet. It paints pictures of failure, loss, and loneliness, then convinces you they are real. But fear is a liar. It survives by making you forget the truth. The truth is that you are still breathing for a reason. The truth is that your story is not finished. The truth is that even your broken moments are not wasted. They are shaping a strength you do not yet recognize. You are becoming someone deeper, someone wiser, someone more compassionate than you would have been without the pain. And even though it hurts now, one day you will look back and realize this was not the place where you ended. It was the place where you were transformed. There will be days when faith feels easy and days when it feels impossible. There will be moments when you feel close to peace and moments when you feel lost again. This does not mean you are failing. It means you are human. Faith is not about never struggling. It is about continuing to walk even when the road feels uncertain. It is about trusting that even when you cannot see the next step, the ground will meet your foot when you move forward. You do not need to have all the answers right now. You do not need to know how everything will work out. You only need to take the next small step. Breathe. Rest when you need to. Cry if you must. Healing is not loud. It often happens quietly, slowly, in ways you cannot measure day by day. But one morning, you will wake up and realize the weight is lighter than it used to be. When the world judges you by your failures, remember that love sees you beyond them. When your past tries to define you, remember that forgiveness opens a new future. You are not the sum of your worst mistakes. You are not trapped by who you used to be. Growth is possible. Change is possible. New beginnings are possible. Even now, even after everything. There is a reason your heart still hopes, even when it is tired. There is a reason you still search for meaning, even when life feels unfair. That reason is not weakness. It is strength. It is the quiet courage to believe that your life has value beyond pain, beyond loss, beyond temporary suffering. If today feels heavy, let it be heavy. You do not have to pretend you are okay when you are not. But do not let the weight convince you that this is all there is. Night does not cancel the morning. Silence does not cancel love. Waiting does not cancel purpose. Even when nothing seems to be changing, something within you is being prepared. You are seen. Every tear you hide, every prayer you whisper, every time you choose to keep going when quitting would be easier. None of it is ignored. There is meaning in your endurance. There is beauty in your resilience. One day, your survival will become someone else's hope. So do not be afraid. Walk forward, even slowly. Trust that light is stronger than darkness. Truth is stronger than fear, and love is stronger than abandonment. When the world walks away, you are not left alone. You are accompanied, guided, and held, even in the silence. And if you cannot believe all of this yet, that is okay. Just listen. Let these words sit with you. Let them breathe with you. Sometimes faith begins not with certainty, but with a quiet willingness to stay alive, to stay hopeful, to stay open to the possibility that your life is still unfolding in ways you cannot yet imagine. Jesus says, "What feels broken to you is not rejected. What feels shattered is not thrown away. In fact, what is broken is often what is held closest." There is a quiet truth many people miss. Strength is not born from perfection. It is born from surrender. When something breaks, it opens. And when it opens, it becomes reachable. That is why the broken are touched first, healed first, lifted first. You may look at your life right now and only see cracks. Dreams that didn't survive, relationships that didn't last, versions of yourself that you had to bury because they could not endure the weight of reality. You may wonder how something so fractured could ever be whole again. But brokenness is not the end of usefulness. It is often the beginning of transformation. Think about this slowly. A seed must break to grow. The shell cracks, not because it failed, but because something greater is pushing its way out. From the outside, it looks like destruction. From the inside, it is becoming life. In the same way, what feels like collapse in your life may actually be preparation. Something new is forming where the old could no longer hold. Patience is not passive waiting. It is active trust in the unseen. It is believing that time is not working against you, but for you. Right now, you may feel delayed, overlooked, stuck in a season that refuses to change. You may ask why healing is taking so long, why answers are slow, why relief hasn't arrived yet. But patience is not punishment. It is protection. If everything came at once, you might not survive the weight of it. Tears are not weakness. They are language. They speak when words fail. Every tear carries a story of endurance, of love, of loss, of hope that refused to die. When you cry, you are not losing control. You are releasing what your soul can no longer carry alone. And no tear is wasted. Not one. They fall into a place where nothing is forgotten. Sometimes you cry because something ended. Sometimes because something didn't begin. Sometimes because you stayed longer than you should have. Sometimes because you tried harder than anyone ever noticed. Tears are proof that you cared deeply, that you hoped honestly, that you loved fully. That is not something to be ashamed of. You may think your tears only water pain, but they also water growth. What grows from pain is wisdom. What grows from sorrow is compassion. What grows from waiting is strength that cannot be taught any other way. One day, you will meet someone standing where you once stood, and you will know exactly how to speak to their heart, not from theory, but from experience. Broken people often believe they are last in line for healing. They assume they must fix themselves first, become stronger first, prove their worth first. But healing does not begin after you are whole. It begins while you are still in pieces. That is why the broken are reached first, because they are honest about their need. There is no rush in true restoration. Quick repairs hide cracks. Patient hands rebuild foundations. If your life feels slow right now, if progress feels invisible, that does not mean nothing is happening. It means the work being done is deep. Surface changes are fast. Inner change takes time. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are becoming. There will be moments when you want to give up because the waiting hurts more than the pain itself. Waiting can feel like standing still while the world moves ahead. But waiting is not wasted time. It is the season where roots grow. Trees that grow too fast break easily in storms. Trees that grow slowly stand firm when winds come. What is being built in you right now is meant to last. Victory does not always look like applause or sudden success. Sometimes victory looks like surviving a night you thought would break you. Sometimes it looks like choosing kindness when bitterness would be easier. Sometimes it looks like waking up and trying again after you promised yourself you were done. These quiet victories are the ones that shape your future. You may not see the connection yet, but one day you will understand how your tears became bricks, how your patience became strength, how your broken moments became the foundation of something unshakable. The pain you endured did not disqualify you. It prepared you. Even now, even in this moment, you are being held with care. Not rushed, not judged, not abandoned, held. Every piece of you matters, including the parts you wish you could hide, especially those parts. So if you are tired, rest, but do not quit. If you are hurting, feel it, but do not let it define you. If you are broken, come as you are, because that is where healing begins. Your tears are not signs of defeat. They are evidence that something within you is still alive, still believing, still hoping for more. And that hope is not misplaced. What is coming will not erase your pain, but it will redeem it. One day you will stand stronger, not because you never broke, but because you were rebuilt with patience, truth, and love. Until then, breathe. Trust the process you cannot yet understand. And remember, what is broken is not forgotten. It is being shaped, slowly, carefully, into something far more powerful than it was before. Jesus says, "Trust does not begin where clarity exists. It begins where certainty ends." Right now, you may be standing in a place where the road disappears in front of you, where every direction feels unfamiliar, where even your own instincts feel unreliable. You may be asking yourself how to move forward when you cannot see where forward leads. But the absence of visibility is not the absence of direction. Just because the path is hidden does not mean it does not exist. There are seasons in life where you are not meant to see the whole journey. If you did, the weight of it might overwhelm you. Instead, you are given only enough light for the next step. And that step, as small as it feels, is enough. Faith is not about seeing the destination. It is about trusting the guidance while walking through uncertainty. Fear often grows in the unknown. It fills the gaps where answers should be. It whispers that you are lost, that you made the wrong choices, that there is no way forward anymore. Fear convinces you that if you cannot see the road, you must be off it. But fear speaks without truth. It speaks without understanding the bigger picture. It speaks from the present moment, not from the future that is already being prepared for you. There is a timing to everything that matters, not the kind of timing that matches human impatience, but the kind that protects you from arriving too early or too late. You may want answers now, relief now, direction now. But timing is not delay, it is design. What feels like waiting is often alignment. Pieces are moving that you cannot see. Doors are being positioned that you have not reached yet. You may feel frustrated because you are trying to plan a future with limited information. You want assurance before you move. You want guarantees before you commit. But life does not always work that way. Some doors only open when you walk toward them. Some answers only appear once you trust enough to move without them. Think about how often you survived things you once believed would destroy you. Think about how many nights you thought you would never get through, yet here you are, still breathing, still standing. The same presence that carried you then has not left you now. The same guidance that protected you before is still at work, even if it feels silent. Silence does not mean absence. Silence often means preparation. Seeds grow in silence. Roots deepen in silence. The most important work is done where it cannot be seen. If everything feels quiet right now, it may be because something important is forming beneath the surface. You are not being led into confusion. You are being led through trust. And trust grows not when life is easy, but when you choose to believe despite uncertainty. Every step you take without clarity strengthens something inside you that certainty never could. Fear will try to convince you that the future holds only more pain. It will remind you of everything that went wrong, everything that failed, everything that hurt you. It will use your past as evidence against your future. But the past is not a prophecy. It is a lesson. What happened before does not define what comes next. Hope is not loud when it is being born. It is quiet, fragile, easily overlooked. It begins as a small willingness to believe that things can be different. It begins when you choose not to give up, even though you are tired. It begins when you say, "I don't understand, but I will keep going." There will come a time when fear loses its grip on you, not because life becomes perfect, but because you become anchored. You will realize that fear no longer controls your decisions, no longer shapes your identity, no longer defines your worth. You will see that the road you couldn't see before led you exactly where you needed to be. When that moment comes, you will understand why certain things had to fall apart, why certain people had to leave, why certain doors had to close. You will see how every hidden step was leading you away from harm and toward growth. You will recognize that what felt like loss was often protection in disguise. You are not walking alone, even when it feels that way. You are being guided with intention, with care, with understanding of every fear you carry. There is patience in this guidance, not pressure. There is compassion, not judgment. You are allowed to be unsure. You are allowed to be afraid. What matters is that you do not stop walking. Sometimes the road becomes clear only after you have walked it. Sometimes understanding comes only after obedience. Sometimes peace arrives only after trust. And when it does, it feels like a deep breath you didn't realize you were holding for so long. Hope is not something you create on your own. It is something that meets you when you keep going. It is born in moments when you thought you were empty, but chose to trust anyway. It grows slowly, quietly, until one day you realize that fear no longer has the final word. You may not know how everything will turn out. You may not know when things will change. But you can know this. You are not being led toward despair. You are being led toward healing. You are not being led into darkness. You are being led through it. So trust, even with shaking hands. Walk, even with tired feet. Believe, even when answers are slow. The road exists, even when you cannot see it. And at the right time, you will arrive at a place where fear no longer defines you, where hope feels natural again, where peace does not feel temporary. Until then, keep going. Not because you are strong enough, but because you are being guided. And that guidance will not fail you. Jesus says, even when you feel tired of believing, you are still being carried. There are moments when faith feels heavy, when trust feels like a burden instead of comfort, when you whisper prayers more out of habit than hope. In those moments, remember this truth gently. Faith does not depend on your strength. It rests on a promise that does not break when you do. There will be seasons when you feel like you are giving more than you are receiving. You show kindness that is not returned. You stay honest in a world that rewards shortcuts. You keep your heart soft even after it has been wounded. And slowly, quietly, exhaustion settles in. You begin to wonder if any of it matters, if anyone sees, if anything will change. But nothing given with love is ever lost. Nothing endured with patience disappears into emptiness. What feels unseen is still counted. What feels unacknowledged is still known. Your quiet integrity, your silent endurance, your unseen sacrifices, they are not invisible. Sometimes life teaches you through delay instead of answers, through silence instead of signs, through closed doors instead of open ones. And that can feel cruel when all you want is reassurance. But delay does not mean denial. Silence does not mean rejection. Closed doors do not mean the end of your journey. Often they mean redirection. You may feel like you are walking in circles, repeating the same struggles, facing the same fears again and again. You may ask why lessons seem to return instead of resolve. But repetition is not punishment. It is refinement. Each time you face something again, you do so with more awareness, more depth, more strength than before. Even if it doesn't feel that way. There is growth happening that you cannot measure. Not the kind that shows immediately, but the kind that changes how you respond, how you endure, how you choose. You are learning to pause instead of panic, to breathe instead of break, to hope instead of harden. These changes are quiet, but they are powerful. You are not asked to be fearless. You are asked to be faithful, even while afraid. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite it. And every time you choose not to give up, something within you becomes steadier, stronger, more grounded. There will be days when the weight of expectations presses down on you. Expectations from others, expectations from yourself. You may feel like you are falling behind, like you should be further along by now, like your life should look different. But growth does not follow a single timeline. Purpose does not rush. What is meant to last is built slowly. Comparison will try to steal your peace. It will point at other people's progress and question your own. But their path is not your path. Their timing is not your timing. What is unfolding in your life is uniquely shaped for who you are becoming. You do not need to arrive where others are. You need to arrive where you are meant to be. There is rest available to you, even before everything is fixed. Rest does not mean escape. It means trust. It means allowing yourself to pause without guilt, to breathe without apology, to admit that you are human and limited, and that you were never meant to carry everything alone. You are allowed to lean. You are allowed to ask for help. You are allowed to admit that some days are harder than others. Strength does not come from pretending you are okay. It comes from honesty, with yourself, with life, with the truth of where you are right now. When you look back someday, you will see that this season taught you how to stand without constant reassurance, how to keep going without immediate reward, how to trust without visible proof. These lessons do not feel gentle while you are learning them, but they shape a resilience that nothing can easily take away. You are being shaped, not rushed, guided, not pressured, loved, not tested beyond your ability to endure. Even when you stumble, even when you doubt, even when you feel far from peace, you are not pushed away. You are drawn closer. There is a steadiness being formed in you that will outlast this uncertainty. A calm that does not depend on circumstances. A hope that does not collapse under pressure. A faith that knows how to breathe even in storms. So when you feel weary, let yourself be weary. But do not lose heart. When you feel uncertain, let yourself question, but do not turn back. When you feel empty, let yourself rest, but do not believe you are finished. You are still becoming, still being guided, still held in care that does not fade when you struggle. And even if today feels unclear, even if tomorrow feels distant, you can trust this much. You are not walking without purpose, and you are not walking alone. Keep going. Gently, honestly, one step at a time. That is enough.